Here it is at last, the Helios Tarot forecast for the month, or Tarot Horoscope drawn specifically for your astrological zodiac sign. I'm B.R. Newman, in case you didn't know that already. Check out my website, IamHelios.com, through the link below, and consider everything that I have to offer there. Consider signing up to receive any number of the personal readings that I offer, or consider signing up to take a course. The choice is yours. There's a lot to explore there. Also consider checking out Annie Botticelli's Storyteller forecasts to see the astrological side of everything you're going to see here. It's fascinating, I promise. So, okay, I guess we'll just jump right into it. Okay, Sagittarius, this is your 5-card tarot spread for the month. Now, this is a kind of condensed or miniaturized Golden Dawn spread, which uses 15 cards. Well, this uses 5 to the same effect. So we have a central theme, 2-dimensional timeline options, a past section, and a fate section. In your central theme, you have the 8 of Cups. So this is the card that most adequately sums up or embodies the greater story arc of the tarot spread. So the 8 of Cups, like all 8s in tarot, corresponds with Hod on the Tree of Life, Spherit 8, and which is action taken from acceptance or surrender. And as manifest through water, in other words, cups, this is stagnation. But the emphasis here is moving on after the stagnation to tend to one's own needs. So look to the areas of your life in which you are unsettlingly unproductive, you could say. And so this is the area, or these are the areas in which you will see the transformation that is outlined by this tarot spread. So that's how you can get more specific about this, even though this is a general reading applying to all Sagittarians. Okay, so the 2-dimensional timelines before you are the ways in which you can respond to this originating, ideally, inspiring stagnation. Inspiring stagnation. Enough is enough, right? So how are you going to go about responding to that? The 3 of Cups is on the one hand, and then the Hierophant is on the other. So the 3 of Cups, like all 3s in tarot, is associated with Binah on the Tree of Life, Sphere 3. Now this has to do with the left hemisphere of the brain. So this has to do with logic, reason, the compartmentalizing mechanism, you could say. And as manifest through water, aka Cups, this is the experience of abundance and fertility. So rich with opportunity and celebration for the opportunity. So this is a logical reason to celebrate. Not merely celebration for the sake of itself, but celebration for a reason. Of course, reason being that which is tied most closely to this left hemisphere of the brain, most closely tied to Binah. So we can see this as a manifestation mechanism, celebration because of that which you know you will achieve. And this celebration is a sort of method of getting the ball rolling again. So the 8 of Cups implies stagnation and the decision to act upon that stagnation and choose to do something, to bring action where there was inaction and progress where there was no progress before. So the way to get that going, apparently, along this dimensional timeline is to simply celebrate that. Make this a milestone in your life. Some challenge that you have overcome that is in itself worth celebrating. And then, of course, the celebration is the tactic for getting the ball rolling, to get your energy level up, to get the cells in your body vibrating, to get the support that you need to, gain some camaraderie with some friends that you are celebrating with, for example. Okay, and so then on the other dimensional timeline, you have the Hierophant. Now, this is a very different approach. This card would suggest that you don't have to do anything. In fact, all you have to do is synergize yourself with your own inherent philosophical belief that you can transcend this situation or any situation. So this doesn't require physical action. This does simply, it requires a clear claim to be made, a statement, almost as if you were professing the truth to an audience or delivering a sermon. But in this case, this is to yourself, to the universe, to yourself being the singular representative of the universe, you being the only center of the universe according to your vantage point in an ever-expanding multiverse, each complete with no apparent end. So we can see that there is an inevitability outlined here that you are going to transcend this inactive state, and that is perhaps just simply due to your nature, Sagittarius, because you're not very comfortable in a state of inaction, and maybe there was some kind of condition, or there were certainly conditions that led up to this, but maybe this is temporary. This is having been brought down to a level of inaction for a temporary period of time, just so that you could perhaps summon a little more real, a little more solid and persistent and consistent, reliable incentive to keep climbing and keep going and keep growing. And of course, when we look to your past, we see the Tower. And the Tower is the state of having fallen from a high place, having invested so much in something that was not real, something that was not in line with who you truly are, and then the universe, or you, your higher self, whatever you would like to call it, decided to topple that tower so that you could start again, so that you could gain a much clearer vantage point, a much clearer understanding of who you truly are, of what you're here to do, of what you want to do also. So sometimes you just have to rest, sometimes you have to step back and stand still for a while to figure out who you are, get your bearings straight, and decide on something, So you have to see what you're working with. And maybe if you're consistently productive and always in action, you don't necessarily set yourself up to be able to see everything that you're working with. So these conditions were set. This tower has toppled to give you a little practice in the art of stepping back. Okay, so let's simplify the dichotomy here. The Three of Cups versus the Hierophant. The Three of Cups is actively celebrating now so as to manifest the desired result, the desired return to progress from an unsettlingly stagnant place. Or there's the Hierophant, which is to simply profess what is true, bypassing the whole ritual celebration for the sake of manifestation, thus allowing yourself to fully be where you are, to not need to do something, but to cherish and honor the space that you are in, because you know that you are impervious, you know that this can't threaten you, this temporary stagnation is in fact temporary, and you know precisely what it is going to incite in you, you know exactly where you're going, etc. And I think I could even be more clear about this end of the dichotomy here, the Hierophant. An important component is that the Hierophant learns to heal as he teaches to heal. Okay, so by simply walking the talk as if you have made it, as if you have succeeded, you emanate by example the incentives to succeed, to pursue success, to take a leap of faith for all who feel stagnant, and we all feel that way sometimes. So it's kind of like a fake it till you make it kind of scenario. You can just bypass the whole manifestation tactic, though you might have more fun celebrating, but you actually do have the capacity within you to simply fake it until you make it. Start acting as though you have succeeded now. Start acting as though you are far more productive than you actually are. So that in itself, I guess, does include some kind of manifestation tactic, in that you are visualizing and accepting, embracing a reality that you have decided in your mind. So the visualization and manifestation process through the law of attraction is all of the same mechanisms are at work. So like I said before, there are certain inevitabilities. And speaking of inevitabilities, let's talk about your fate section, the Prince of Swords. So all of these 16 court cards in tarot correspond to all 16 of the Myers-Briggs personality profiles. You may or may not already be aware of that. Not everyone knows that, but to me the connection is incredibly obvious. So this Prince of Swords is actually directly correspondent to the ESTP, which is the extroverted sensing thinking perceiver. This is somebody who has an unconventional approach to life, somebody who's very fun, lives here and now, somebody who's very good at problem solving and spontaneous. So this is much more in line with the natural wiring of Sagittarius, we could say, or let's say the most productive forms of Sagittarius. Somebody who is always in action, somebody who's embracing every opportunity that presents itself, and someone who actively presents opportunities to others and creates opportunities for themselves. But this is somebody who is extremely realistic about things. This may be something that's slightly different from the classic Sagittarian archetype. So this personality profile is not necessarily the optimist, wearing the rose-tinted glasses. This is someone who sees reality fully, as it is, both light and dark, and then applies their unconventional and fun approach to that. So, of course, having any personality profile in your fate is indicative of having a new capacity or integrating a new personality profile into your own. But in this case, it's quite clear. A lot of aspects of the Prince of Swords are quite in line with a Sagittarian way of being. But the Prince of Swords has a bit of an edge, with that firm grasp on reality as it is. So the manifestation ability inherent in the Prince of Swords is not dependent on an optimistic perspective. The Prince of Swords is aware of the reality of things, but because of his unconventional approach and his fun approach, his fun tactics, he is able to bring the same level of joy and confidence to the table to allow that manifestation to occur in line with the desires that are set. So in fact, were the hypothetical classic Sagittarius able to integrate with this Prince of Swords way of being to not require a perhaps naive level of optimism in order to manifest the desired scenario, they would achieve a much greater strength, a much more powerful manifestation ability, because they would not require a fragile, sheltering, controlling mechanism that depends largely on suppression, repression, and denial of reality. This new, expanded, realistic Sagittarius does not make the mistake investing faith, hope, and energetic resources beyond the self, assuming that it is the universe taking care of them, aligning the conditions in favor of, the expansion and the growth of the individual. Rather, this personality profile would understand that it is through one's own strength in response to the realities of life that the soul, the spirit, the mind, the creative genius inside of all of us can persevere and succeed. All of this denotes a kind of strength that is much less easy to topple. And the reality is, the world, the universe, is not a paradise, is not looking out for you. And the truth of the matter is, you are tough, you are strong, you can take it, you are powerful beyond belief. So, it's really just a shift in perspective. The individual who assumes they are being taken care of will then require care. Those who know their own strength and fear nothing in the face of reality as they stare it right in the face can change the face of the world according to the best and highest collective vision. And that about wraps us up, so thank you so much for listening to this. Check out my website at the link below, IamHelios.com. Consider everything that I have to offer there. I'm offering readings right now. We can go so much deeper, take this so much further, taking a vast wellspring of resources into account. Of course, astrology and tarot, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, and cutting-edge science. There's so much to consider, and you can take this so far and do so much with it. So I'll leave you to it. Thank you so much.